think is kind of in his favor or kind of bullish. Do you know this guy, George Hotz or Hotz?
Love him. We got to get this guy in the pod. This guy is one of those freaks that I love. He is a total freaking weirdo, and just he's a punk rocker. Is what he is.
Tell people his background, and then I don't know if you've been following what he's doing with Twitter, but I'm going to tell you that.
So years ago, when Sean and I both lived in San Francisco, I think he started out of like a hacker house, didn't he? Where like it was like just a hacker house with a bunch of like computer guys, and he starts building a self-driving. Not a self-driving car, but technology that you can add to most cars. And it's called comma.ai, I believe. And he starts a self-driving car and he makes these crazy predictions. And like, there's one story of like a journalist coming to see his self-driving car technology. And he's driving throughout San Francisco and they're like, this is amazing. When did you get this to work? And he's like, oh, just this morning. Like he's just like he's like a cowboy that builds the stuff that is incredibly illegal, unregulated. And he just plows through and he does it anyway, raises all this money. It ends up flaring out and not working out. And he quits and leaves. But he's very outspoken, very opinionated, clearly a smart guy, and kind of a punk rocker in terms of like self-driving cars. He makes fun of all his competitors, including like GE and Ford and all this stuff. And so he's kind of a loose cannon, but kind of in a good way, in my opinion.
So two things. One, I don't think Comma has flamed out. Like I think it's still going. I don't think it has not become the winner, but he did resign as CEO, president, or whatever. So the company's still alive. But before that, you know his backstory. I think he was the first guy to jailbreak an iPhone. So
and he jailbroke like a Tesla too. I think
he jailbroke an iPhone. Then he hacked the PlayStation. So he hacked Sony, which was pretty huge. And then he was doing something with the Tesla. And I remember at the time there was some story. Sorry, I don't have this in front of me, but there was some story where Elon basically offered him a job or something like that. Yeah. So Elon offered him, it is what he claims. Elon offered him $12 million minus. So basically he's saying, I'll give you 12 million. Or let me explain differently. He did a demo that showed he had the self-driving car technology and it wasn't using at the time what was the kind of the core technology for the vision system, which I think was Mobileye. Mobileye was the hot company. It's what Tesla was using. George Hotz made a version of that without using Mobileye. And Mobileye was kind of limiting and kind of sucked and kind of expensive. So Tesla wanted to get off it. So he says that Elon made him an offer, which was, I'll give you $12 million for this technology, minus $1 million for every month that it takes you to do the task. So like, if you give it to me today, it's 12 million. If it takes you 9 months,
just a pissing match between two people ready to play that game.
Exactly. And he's like, if you can create a driving system that replaces Mobileye that Tesla was using at the time, and then they kind of walked that back and whatever, and so they basically discussed, do you want to come work, whatever? No. So then he creates Comma.ai, which was the idea was like, you don't need to buy a Tesla that has like self-driving. Like, what about all these other millions and millions of cars that exist? What are they going to do? Just be left in the dust? He's like, no, I'm going to build a retrofit system. So you could put this on a Honda Civic and install this thing on the top and this thing in the dash, and then it will be able to be self-driving, right? Like we'll install the cameras and the technology so that your car can be retrofitted to be self-driving. That was the dream of that system. So he's this hacker guy, brilliant programmer. Also very, very entertaining guy. Like he's sort of like, we've talked about Martin Shkreli's live streams where he like looks at stocks and finance and things like that. And then this guy, George, does the same thing. He'll live stream himself, figure things out. So the other day,
he's the real deal, I think. I mean, I think that examples like that, I don't think he's full of it. I think he's a loose cannon, but I think he's the real deal.
Yeah, agreed. So the other day he goes live on Twitter live streaming video, and he's like, let's see how Twitter works. Sorry, I'm just gonna like, I've never looked at the Twitter source code, but like I don't work there, so I don't have access, but like just right click, inspect, and let's see what they're doing. Okay, so what is this? Okay, this is the login prompt. What if I remove this? And he starts messing with it. And he's like, so how does this work? And he's like trying to play with it. He's just talking live while he's doing it.
What platform is this on?
So he was doing it on Twitter. He streamed it live on Twitter as the video. Then he does Twitch a lot and things like that. So then he tweets out to Elon. He tweets out about the hardcore. He tweets out Elon's like hardcore email. And he's like, this is great. This is like exactly what it takes to win. And like, people should be jumping on this. And immediately he starts getting backlash. People are like, oh, yeah, so this guy's asking you to work twice as hard for less money and, without giving you extra pay. Like, oh, yeah, we should all just be slaves to this billionaire. And people are like ragging on him in the comments. And he goes, dude, can you imagine the excitement of getting to work on this right now? Like, this is amazing. Screw it. I'll put my money where my mouth is. Hey, Elon, I'll do a 12-week internship. I'll work for free. And I want to come help you fix Twitter.
And he took it.
Elon goes, sure, let's talk. And then George goes back, here comes the pissing match. He goes, my number hasn't changed, which is just a hilarious thing to be like, you call me and let's let it be known you have my number.
That's what he said. He goes, that's what his reply was.
He goes, great. My number hasn't changed. And
oh
then,
my God.
And then so he agreed to, so he's there now. So he joined Twitter. He agreed to, Elon gave him the problem. He goes, you're going to fix Twitter search. You have 12 weeks to do it. And so he's publicly trying to fix Twitter search right now. And he's tweeting out every day the shit he's doing. And he agreed to work on this for just the cost of living stipend. I think he said he makes, he's going to make two grand a week, I think is what he said. The cost of living in San Francisco. So $8,000 a month. And this is a guy that is a multimillionaire, basically cannot be hired for a job. He's like an entrepreneur that could snap his fingers and get funding again.
Well, and he's tweeting as he goes. I just saw him tweet something, and the first line was, I don't know if I have the authority to do this, but, and then he said what he wanted to do. And I was like, I'm in, you got me. That's a beautiful first sentence. I'm following your journey.
And one of the things he did, he goes, all right, I'm trying to fix a search thing, but I need somebody he wanted somebody to do just a front end design task, which most real programmers aren't good at that stuff. And so he's like, I wanted to just autocomplete. When I open search, he goes, for some reason, it shows me just this random follower of mine's name. He's like, no, it should prompt me on the ways that I can search, search people, search for hashtags, search within my likes, show me what the things I could do. He goes, don't send me a resume. Don't tell me it can't be done. Just send me a code snippet that I can plug in and it works. If you do that, you're hired. That's the interview. So it's wildly entertaining to watch this guy do it. And I think this is part of the bull case of, well, if Elon can get real hackers and real people who are ready, it's kind of like a movie when it's oh, the old gunslinger, they go to his house, he's retired, but he agrees to dust off the old boots and get back out there.
Hey, John,
if he can assemble,
we have a final mission for you.
Yeah, exactly. If he can assemble,
I told you, I'm retired.
Be yo, this is Ocean's 11. We're gonna go do this shit. It's a 3-month gig. Just get off your ass and come do this.
It's also the bear case though, because that sounds great and all when you're just getting something going. It doesn't sound good when I have all types of private stuff in my DMs that I would not want to be public. I share intimate things, I'll complain about other people, or I'll say hey, how are you solving this problem? I can't figure it out. I don't like the fact that people are doing things this way when there's already 300 million users and there's a lot of payment information and intimate information on this platform. So I would say it's also a bear case.
Yeah. By the way, on that, so Elon goes, all the messaging should be encrypted. If a gun was to my head, I should not be able to reveal what's in somebody's DMs. So we need to go end-to-end encryption. And he told the employees that. Then he goes, and then same thing. I reached out to the original founder of Signal. He's willing to help us, think through how to do this, help us implement this end-to-end encryption quickly. And same thing. He's basically, oh, the guy who started Signal, he was the guy from WhatsApp, right? Sold it to Facebook, then regretted it and was like, F this. These guys are basically screwing with my baby. They're reducing the encryption. They're adding in ads. They're mining the data, whatever. Quits out of principle and starts Signal, a completely encrypted messaging tool because he really believes in this. I forget if he was the one who founded it or he was the funder. He was maybe the main funding source.
Yeah, whatever. He was involved.
He put 50 million in. But yeah, that's another example of people, getting kind of world-class people involved. But
do you realize
somebody's got to go do the work every day for the next 5 years? Who's that person going to be?
The last 8 weeks or so have been kind of a gift from God in terms of just drama. and I'm just chomping at the bit every morning to go and look at my Twitter app or like to go and look at the news. I'm loving this, man. This is a soap opera, and I'm on board. I said I was off board originally when Elon was doing Twitter, and now like with FTX and all this other drama, I'm back. They got me back. Like, this has just been awesome. It's been a dopamine hit like every single day, you know, and I'm fiending. I'm waiting for that next hit every morning. I check it. And so this has been just
kind
a
of
gift.
the opposite, dude. I'm going the other way. I can't resist sometimes. What's that? Is it the R. Kelly thing where he's like, my mind's telling me no. He's like, well, my body's saying yes. Like that's how it feels. Like my mind is like, this is all a distraction, unrelated to you. Go read a book. Go outside. Go build something.
This is the opposite of what you stand for. Go read a book. Have you ever read a book in your life? The other day you told me about a book you were reading, and I was like, oh, that's great. You're like, yeah, I'm only 5 pages in, though. You literally were telling me about a book that you were reading and how impactful it's been. And then the next sentence was you said that you were 5 pages in. Do you remember that? It was like about like yoga or some bullshit. It was like
quicker the better.
And now you're telling me to get off Twitter and read a book. I didn't know you read books.
I tell other people to do it.
When was the last time you read a book from beginning to end?
From beginning to end, okay, that is a bit of a challenge. I read probably 1 book a year from beginning to end, and I read probably 10 books from beginning to 35 pages in a year.
That's so funny.
Yeah, by the way, I think that's the optimal way to read books. Most books, you can get the general principle, and if it doesn't compel you to finish it, you should have no problem putting it down, saying I took what I needed from that, and I'm ready for the next interesting little nugget or principle, because these books are a lot of filler.
Tell me about this jet thing that you've had on here twice now. By the way, so we have this document. It's called MDB Master. It stands for $1 Million Brainstorm. I don't know if you saw this. It's across 200 pages. So Sean and I have this document that every day in the morning we like write our topics. It's 50,000 words now and 200 pages.
Deleting. I've deleted a bunch of topics off this. Like once we're done with it, I just delete them.
It's pretty wild how long this document is. But you've had this thing in here about jets. What about it?
Okay, so I forgot who was saying this. Maybe Andrew Wilkinson, somebody else.
Andrew.
He was saying this about